everyone, especially Motherland, Fort Salem fans and superfans out there. For this video, I thought I'd talk about the certain characters that have grown and changed throughout the seasons of Motherland, Fort Salem. Or talking about their different character developments, at least in my opinion. First up is Raelle Collar. When we first see her, she was a morose and a reluctant recruit for Fort Salem, and is very close to her dad. She also had a habit for breaking rules, and even had arguments with Abigail Bellweather. This was because of her. This was basically because of her mom's supposed death, and that she believed the military had worked her mom to death. With Raelle's character development, it happened almost immediately when she met Scylla. She experienced happiness and love for the first time since her mom supposedly died, and Scylla was also the gateway of Raelle trusting her unit. Of course, when Scylla disappeared, Raelle spiraled into depression and went through reckless ways to try and find her. It even got worse after her breakup with Scylla, as Raelle was back to being morose and was unable to forget Scylla. It wasn't until the events of of season 2 of episode 8 that Raelle and Scylla started reconciling, and in the 10th episode of the second season, they officially get back together, and the relationship is stronger than before. Next is Scylla Ramshorn. We first see her disguised as a random individual who made 1,600 civilians commit suicide. Not to mention that Raelle was once her mark, and was even advised to deliver her to the spree, by her mom, Raelle Collar, unbeknownst to her at the time. Throughout the first 5 episodes of the series, we see how she ended up being a terrorist determined to do her job to a woman who'd found her true love. Many of you can take wild guesses on when she developed actual feelings for Raelle, but I feel that they are a long time simmering. In the 4th episode of the first season, Scylla confesses her feelings to Raelle. In the 5th episode of the first season, she tells Raelle that she loves her after deciding to betray the spree in order to be with her. When she got separated from Raelle, she refused to let anyone interrogating her inside her head until they brought Raelle to her. During their short reunion, Scylla begs Raelle not to believe the horrible things that they'll tell her. She also tells Raelle that she loves her and won't do anything to hurt her. Of course, she wouldn't hurt Raelle, at least not on purpose. When Raelle eventually finds out about her deceit, she confronts Scylla, who tries to explain herself tries to explain herself, and even saying that she chose her over the spree. After their breakups, like with Raelle, Scylla was unable to forget about her. In the 4th episode of the second season, Scylla takes a photo of Raelle off of Willa's refrigerator and is seen looking at it while staking out with Anacostia. In the 8th episode of the second season, Raelle and Scylla started reconciling and officially get back together in the 10th episode of the second season. In fact, their relationship is stronger than before. That Scylla was actually helping Abigail and Tally to get Raelle back when the mycelium dragged her on the ground. Another character that had an interesting character development is Abigail Bellweather. When we first see her, she conscripts to Fort Salem and is already diligent on going to war college after completing basic training. Not to mention, she was once a man-eater. In the first 2 episodes of the series, she gets into arguments with Raelle Collar because of the Fixer's morose disobedience. Of course, what Abigail took no time to understand or be sensitive about was when Raelle's mom supposedly died. If it affected her so much that she was cynical about the military, and was even suicidal. Abigail even tries justifying it by telling her that she died with honor, and people die every day. Not that it comforted Raelle at all. We were lucky enough that she actually got along with Raelle, but after the events of the But after the events of the fifth episode of the first season, and during the events of the sixth episode of the first season, she got to understand how it feels to lose a loved one and be unable to do anything about it, and like when a cousin got murdered by the Camarilla, and almost experienced the same fate herself. All that aside, she was also not very trusting of Scylla in the first two seasons. I mean, while it's safe to say that she's mellowed down in the third season, I like how she's treating like Raelle and Scylla now as opposed to how she first met them. Right. To pile on, she would often ditch one man to the next. I mean, this is probably due to her having three fathers and whatnot, but that is all that changed when she met Adil. I mean, if I had to guess, Adil is what relaxes her from her impulses, and hasn't had this experience with any other guy. And last but not least, Alder. In the first two seasons, we were left questioning Alder's moral agency, with a lot of her behaviors that we've seen from her. It was so much so that I would ask my dad, "Is Alder an evildoer?" He would respond yes, but he would also mention to me that everything that Alder did was for her own selfish purposes. I mean, however, in season 3, we see her notably less selfish as she tries to collect pieces of the first song in order to save the world. Well, thank you for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, press the thumbs up button and subscribe for more videos. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section, and I'll catch you all in my next video.